I'm getting better at this. And you know, every week I watch this playback and I laugh and I comment every week, hey, I hit record. Like, you need to stop doing that, Michelle. Anyway, welcome to the Hummingbird Assembly. We are an assembly of people who will teach each other to find the miracle of joyful living from life's circumstance. And each week we gather to stimulate thought, create connection, and expand consciousness. I am the moderator for this discussion. I'm Reverend Michelle, and it's my pleasure to be here to lead us in conversation each week. We begin each week with our announcements, and they are the same as they have been for so many weeks. Probably half of you could announce them. There are two boxes behind me. They used to be over there, but they're over here now. And in my opinion, the most important box is the green one. It is the discussion topics box. There's a pen and pieces of paper in there, and I invite you to write out your suggestions. Welcome. Good morning. Morning. No need to apologize. Just come on in. Take an intention. So the green box is where we ask you to make suggestions about what you'd like to talk about. This is your assembly. We would like this conversation to stay relevant to what you're experiencing in your life. And don't worry, if you fill out a little slip, you do not have to lead the discussion. I promise to continue to do that. The white box is where we collect donations to fund the ongoing costs of a growing organization. And we thank you very much for your contribution. We do ask, come on in, don't worry about it. I see you there. Welcome. Don't worry about it if you don't have the money. We want your presence way more than we want. I know you're so happy, right? You're not the only one. Great. Good morning. Kent is so happy to have a buddy. Kent is so happy to have a buddy. I wasn't going to answer. Good morning. We continue to collect awakening stories. If you would like to share with us the moment you realized in your life that you were not a victim of circumstance, but actually a conscious co-creator of your experience, we would love it if you wanted to email that to us at admin@hummingbirdAssembly.com. The intention is when we have enough of these stories gathered to compile them into an ebook and share that with people who are beginning on the path. Many of us will remember how alone we felt as we started our own awakening. And it's nice that they would have something to let them know that they're not the only ones going through what they're going through. So if you wanted to submit your stories for inclusion in that, I would love it. And the address again is admin@hummingbirdAssembly.com. And I think that's all of our announcements. So let us then begin with our opening intention, which is on your handout. Feel free to read along out loud with us or to follow along silently. May I come to understand that blessings are everywhere, that my attitude will affect outcomes, that challenges are often gifts in disguise. May I come to trust that most things can get better with time, and that my instincts and feelings have value, and that a positive attitude makes things go smoother. May I come to see that I have many skills and talents I can use, that I am a positive influence on many people, and that there are those around me who wish me well. May I come to value that today is a blessing to be enjoyed, that each person is unique and important, and that each moment of my life is meaningful. It's so nice to hear all these voices sitting there. I remember when there were like 4 of us. It's exciting. So our topic this week is something that, believe it or not, came out of watching Modern Family. That's awesome. I love that show. I feel like Jay is my dad. Anyway, this week, when we were watching Modern Family, there was this whole thing happening, and Mitchell and I got talking about it afterwards, and he was referring to what is a better motivator, fear or love. And so this is the discussion that I wanted us to have today. The idea of fear and love as motivation in our life, and what is the impact of choosing one side or the other. Does anyone want to share anything right off the bat, or shall I read you a quote?
I'll say something.
Yes.
If this is relevant.
Yes.
Okay, so when I go and get a lottery ticket, for example, I would say, oh, I'd like a winning 649, whatever. I would say a winning ticket, and so of course you always get a comment snickering.
Yeah.
So just recently, there's a few people in line behind me, which I didn't realize, and they said, I'd like a winning. And you go, I'm going, are you saying
losing ticket?
Yeah, like what's that about? And he's going, well, he didn't know what to say. I'm going, okay. So anyways, that prompted conversation and laughter, and I was just saying, I'm going, well, if you can't print out a winning one, I'll go somewhere else. But
right.
And I'd like a receipt with that, so that if it isn't winning, I'm going to return it. Anyways, and this is what happens. So everybody's going, I want what she's having. And, it's just the guy saying, like, I've never had so much fun in a lineup before.
Isn't that nice?
So it wasn't so much necessarily with love, but, where people are standing there going, oh my gosh, in a lineup, it just kind of like, everybody probably felt so upbeat for that moment. And I think that makes a difference when you can.
It totally does.
Sure. So I guess it is sort of like to do with love, or at least laughter.
Your attention matters. Totally, right?
Yeah.
Did you win? There's the big question.
I don't know yet, because I write all this store down where I get it. Right now, when I check it, then I'll see what I get.
You know what?
I'll be a part of it.
I wouldn't be surprised if you always win something, whether it's a free ticket or $2. It might not be the big jackpot.
I do get more $2. There's a lot more $2 lately than I had in the past. I don't know if that's because I'm scanning them now as opposed to checking them. Because I used to check them and they, really not have much, but you scan them, it's like, oh, $2. So exciting. Yeah, so I think if you can, lift up a situation, whether it's just an everyday standing in line at a store telling someone that they look great, or I think it gives them maybe a little bit of happiness.
Yeah, for sure.
Love is a better feeling.
Yeah.
Inside, as opposed to fear.
Fear will definitely get people like pumped up in a different way, but I think the feeling of happiness maybe affects others. Maybe they'll share that with others.
Well, Barb, you do that pendulum exercise, right?
I do which?
A pendulum exercise to show the reach of fear versus the reach of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
Does anybody have something we can expect? I probably do. We haven't got one yet. I'm using you.
I forgot my wallet.
I'm using you.
Oh, jeez.
Nice share.
See? We bite.
Don't say it.
I'm not going to make you cry.
Clean up his mess.
Okay, what I want you to do is think nothing but loving thoughts. Tell me when you're ready. Okay. Okay, the pendulum is picking up your aura here. I'm not going too far.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see how far your aura is reaching, or your energetic vibrations are reaching with loving thoughts. I want you to completely turn those off and go to fearful, angry, whatever you want, negative thoughts. Ready? Okay, nothing. Still nothing.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, a little bit there. There we go. So negative thoughts drew his aura right into about a foot away from him, as opposed to, what was that, 8 feet?
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Isn't that cool?
That is such a powerful demonstration of how you affect people.
Okay, can you explain just that a little bit, like what happened there? Was that just doing it itself, or did you start it?
The pendulum is picking up his vibration over the vibration when he's only projecting loving energy. But as he changed that energy,
you weren't putting anything,
No.
you weren't putting any emotion there.
No.
No, it
No,
just does it by itself.
I'm not influencing. Well, I mean, I think my energy does influence to a certain
To some
degree.
extent.
To some extent. But I'm not shaking it. No, I'm not moving. It's reacting to his energy.
And how did you feel about that? Did you feel it was like, were you really projecting the?
I was thinking he's not angry at me. He's not scared of the opposite.
Yeah.
Because you can, when you walk in a room and there's a negative person, it's
Yeah.
like, ooh, get me out of here. Like you can
Because
do it a mile away.
because it feels empty.
Yes.
You're responding to the vacant space. You're responding to the lack in the room. You're not responding to their rage or their anger. You're responding to, oh my God, there's nothing here. I'm meant for love. Right? Good morning.
Morning of that.
So I want to read this quote with you because I thought it was pretty deep. All human actions are motivated at their deepest level by two emotions, fear or love. In truth, there are only two emotions, only two words in the language of the soul. Fear wraps our bodies in clothing, and love allows us to stand naked. Fear clings to and clutches all that we have, while love gives all that we have away. Fear holds close, love holds dear. Fear grasps, love lets go. Fear rankles, love soothes. Fear attacks, love amends.
Amen.
Isn't that beautiful?
I don't imagine Jay said that.
Pardon me?
I don't imagine that was a quote from Jay.
No, no, that was not Jay. No. It's Neil Donald Walsh, who I didn't know of before I Googled fear and love motivators.
He's just come through open heart surgery.
That's it.
Yeah, very well.
There you go. Sorry, I can't hear you, Craig.
Why is the name so familiar? You wrote a couple of books.
Conversations with God.
Right, a
Yeah,
series.
it's a 6-part series. I have it if anyone wants. That's coming.
She has it.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, I read the first one like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Got me out of depression.
Yeah, pretty fabulous writings.
John Lennon says, there are two basic motivating forces, fear and love. When we are afraid, we pull back from life. And when we are in love, we open to all that life has to offer with passion, excitement, and acceptance. We need to learn to love ourselves first in all our glory and our imperfections. If we cannot love ourselves, we cannot fully open to our ability to love others or our potential to create. Evolution and all hopes for a better world rests in the fearlessness and open-hearted vision of people who embrace life.
There's a lot there. Could you read it again?
The John Lennon one?
Yeah, thank you.
There are two basic motivating forces, fear and love. When we are afraid, we pull back from life. When we are in love, we open to all that life has to offer with passion, excitement, and acceptance. So we could stop there and discuss that part. Would you like to do that? Or do you want me to continue? No pressure.
I would say you could continue.
Okay.
I'm open to discussion. I don't know. Something.
How I heard again, see that?
Okay. We need to learn to love ourselves first in all our glory and imperfections. If we cannot love ourselves, we cannot fully open to our ability to love others or our potential to create. Evolution and all hopes for a better world rest in the fearlessness and open-hearted vision of people who embrace life.
I would agree with that.
You would agree. Have you ever lived a life in fear?
I don't know. Like true fear?
I've allowed fear to shut me down. And it's fear of other person's reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And so not wanting to see that or be in that space, I just...
Right. Like how many times do we say, what will people think?
Yeah, right. It's none of our business, but yeah.
I think a lot of times too, we just turn off emotions. I go back 5 years from my mom died, and fear was definitely driving me then because I did not want to feel the depth of my grief.
Right.
So I shut myself in with depression and wouldn't let anyone in. And I think fear definitely drives things like that.
And it's magical to see someone who's fully embracing and living passionately, right? When they're loving what they're doing and loving life, it just radiates and goes everywhere, right? Yeah. It's such
It does. It's
so
inspiring
powerful,
to be
yeah.
with those people. And that's what Mitchell and I were talking about. So in Modern Family, Jay is having some experience of, I think it's blood pressure, and he's wearing this giant monitor, and he's having to monitor his emotions and his blood pressure. And at the end, he decides that life is too short to be staying on top of these small details. He's just going to take off the cuff and sit down and have a drink and have a cigar. And his 4-year-old comes out and sits on his lap and says something about not wanting him to die. And so Mitchell and I got talking about, what was the motivator there when he snapped the cigar in half then and didn't smoke it? Was it fear or love? And he said, no, it was totally love. But I don't think it was. And here's why. Here's why I think that. Because I think what he was afraid of, I think he was acting out of guilt. And guilt is a manifestation of fear. I think he made that decision and changed that decision because he felt responsible for someone else's feelings, which did not allow him to honor his own.
Can you dissect that in numerous ways, though?
You totally could. You totally
Fear
could.
out of not being there for his child as he grows up, but love for the child enough that
And wanting to be there.
He's wanting to be there, so it's kind of got, it's a dichotomy. It's kind of got both sides in it.
Yeah.
Not knowing what's actually in his heart and head, but
Right.
from an outside.
Mostly because he's a character, right? So we don't know all of those things. But that was when I thought this is an important conversation to have. Because, Mitchell saw that as it's an act of love, or I saw it as a response of guilt.
We're kind of connected, really. When I think about choices that I've made to help, whether it's my children or my parents, I think we do things not purposely to be guilty, like I have to do this. Well, why do I have to do it? I have to do it because I left them. And if anything happens, then I would feel terrible. I would lose them and never have them. And that's, I don't know, I think that's more love.
But is that a fear of that emotion?
I don't want to,
It's so deep, isn't it?
It's like deep and it's together. Like you have both of them because you don't want to know what happens when you never have them again. It's horrible to never have that person. And that will be very sad and then guilty because maybe you didn't do everything you could have. I question myself sometimes, like, I got to do this because.
Yeah.
Partial guilt, but I think I'd rather take that risk if it is, just so that I can do everything I can to make sure that we're there.
But at times that decision made from fear produces the positive. So, because that's what I'm hearing from what you're saying as well, as I can think of some situations for myself, that in those moments, it's like I feel my survival is challenged on the finances or relationship or something. So it's the fear of loss that motivates me to make a change of some sort. But once I'm able to make that change, then I'm also able to see the love, to be able to change the motivator. Because then, when I'm no longer in the bottom of the pyramid, the Maslow theory, I'm able to then to relax and to appreciate, to see what is around me, and to appreciate the relationship around me or the situation, and to then make decisions based on the growth, based on the needs to move forward.
The end result is love because you guilted yourself. No, I don't want to say guilt, but we feel me personally.
So is it really just a question of perspective?
Sure. Individual. It's
Like, is this the
individual.
glass is half empty, the glass is half full? Is this that?
But not in a wrong way when I'm looking at my perspective. I'm not doing it to be negative. I'm doing it like that. I'm
when you're making that statement and saying, I need to do this, I need to do it, I'm going, you know what, you gotta look after yourself first. Don't worry, your parents this, or like, no, I'm put here for this reason. Like, I was put in this situation. Sometimes I don't want to do what I'm doing, but I guess there's a reason I'm doing it, like caregiving, for example. So I do it.
But you said care.
Care. Is that care?
Caregiving.
Yeah.
You're doing it out of love.
Yeah,
There's nothing
and
wrong
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's when
with
you
obligation and you feel it, but that's
Obligation.
fine, but
Is
you're
that
doing it out of
guilt?
love.
right, and that's what I'm saying. The end result, it might be we feel we have to do it because, oh my gosh, what happens if something happens?
But I don't think you ultimately feel that way.
I don't do it. I'm not doing it out of guilt.
I don't think
I'm
you
doing it for
ultimately feel like you do this because you have to.
Okay.
I think ultimately you take care of your parents because you love them.
and I want to know that they're there, because if they're not there, I hear other people that don't have their parents, and that would be very sad.
Sounds like fear to me. You're living in fear of your parents not being there.
Well,
Excuse me.
okay.
No, it's all good.
And I just say, having gone through this, because I've lost my older sister, my dad, and my mom, if you give everything you can from your heart, you won't feel that way. I know I gave my mom and dad every last ounce, and my sister, of love that I could possibly muster up for them in their last days. And prior to that, through their lifetime. But they all transitioned, and I felt no guilt. I felt great loss, but I certainly didn't feel guilt. Because I know I love them with everything I have in my heart. So just a little piece of advice. Just love from your heart and give them what you feel you want to. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine when the day comes. And it will come. You know it will come. You will be fine.
That I fear. I don't want
We
to
can't
do
fear
that.
the inevitable. I mean, it's transitioning to the next, to home. That's part of it.
And the age that we get, and some people don't even get that far.
Yes.
No one gets out alive, all right? No one gets out alive.
And my dad used to say, there's two things in life you gotta do, pay taxes and die.
And it is a transition.
Absolutely, they're just going home.
So back to now, that's
Yeah.
opened you up now. How does that answer that question? Are we any further ahead?
I don't know if we're going to come to an
There
answer.
probably isn't an answer.
I find it really fascinating to consider that really it's a matter of my perception, right? And were you say something?
I think in terms of love or fear being motivators, also you would have to think of, what is fear, and what scares me probably doesn't scare you, or vice versa. And also, what is rock bottom? Because my rock bottom could be way lower than yours, or whatever, right?
I like that you're judging.
Well, whatever. Right? But like, seriously though, like, I mean, for me, it's like, whatever.
I've said that before. If a princess broke her nail, it could be just as devastating as somebody losing their mother or losing their baby
Or losing
whatever.
your home.
Right? It's all
It's about
so
loss.
what is-
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's so important to you? What's your
Right.
priority? Yeah.
That's a bit of a ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but same way, like, okay, money, maybe,
Money changes everything.
exactly. But, you don't have money, people freak out, and then other people are like, oh, they'll come. I don't know, no fear, I'll be provided for, exactly.
There's enough
Nothing
for
about
everyone.
yeah, like this,
So I have one last quote here. It says, people are motivated by fear, but they are not inspired by it. Everything that inspires us comes from love. Oh, let's hear it. Here's a deep thought
What about
phase.
somebody else's fear?
What do you mean?
You choose if you're going to react to someone else's fear. That's your choice.
What if it motivates you in a positive way? Like you see somebody else freak out. And
Well,
you're
this
like,
is the question. Can you be motivated in a positive way by fear?
well, what if it's like, that's not going to be, I'm not going to let that
That's
be
fear.
me.
That is totally a fear-based response.
The law of reflection too, you're seeing something.
Right, it's a warning of what you could become, right?
Because I don't want to be like that.
I don't want to have that as an option.
Oh, does that motivate me? I think of like help.
So the law of reflection tells us if we're seeing something that we think that's never going to be me, like I often refer to those experiences as alarm clocks, getting a wake-up call. When you have an alarm clock moment, the law of reflection tells us you say, thank you for the warning. And that is how you switch that fear to love, because you thanked it. So says my internet boyfriend, Matt Kahn.
Whatever arises, love it.
Right,
Don't love it.
right.
I found this one person I was trying to help and give them positive support, reinforcements. They were so negative that no matter what I tried, they kept pushing. I was like, why am I doing this? I can't be on this person.
That's the question.
And it was draining me. And no matter what I offered for support, and I know a few people like this, they would turn around and next week doing the same thing again, complaining about the same thing. That's not motivating to me. I was trying to help, offer suggestions. You can only do so much, and then finally you say, you know what, you gotta back off. And
You cannot help someone who does not want to be helped.
right. So you can motivate yourself. Not, I don't want to call it a motivator. It's more help, try to help them. But if they're not willing to see the bright side of things, is maybe a simple term. If they don't have hope and faith, which some of them don't, because they're going, well, if there was a God or if such a thing, I wouldn't be in this situation. I was like, you need to look at the other things in life that make things better for you. Like not just what's happening right now, and maybe find the good in the other things. So sometimes you have to walk away, but that took me years for some of these people because I felt obligated. So that's the guilt.
Yes.
For a friend.
You were not acting out of love.
I was acting just trying like, oh my gosh, I gotta help this person. Yeah, it wasn't going to be an end result for me.
And
I
the
wasn't
fear
going to be.
was not your own fear, but your fear was, I need to help them because they're alone.
And it wasn't even fear. It was just, I want to help this person because if you look at things and if you just like, please, just pray.
We're getting into an interesting thing here.
It's, like little things that, but anyways, some of these people didn't find it.
You're talking in judgment, right? And I don't mean you specifically, but of course all of us, when we look at someone, we think, oh, I can help that person. They haven't asked for help.
Yeah,
they haven't said that they have an issue. They haven't said that they need assistance, but I'm like, oh, I can save you. That's what it is, right? We're making a judgment on their position in life and how can they possibly be happy there? I know they aren't. I'm going to show them a better way. Or I'm going to wash their dishes.
I promised myself I'm not going to take on people projects.
Oh.
So I started painting.
You took on actual projects.
Are you being happy or are you changing?
It's much easier to complete and it's definitely harder.
There's no sass.
Right. I don't know. I think helping people is happy on the other side.
If they're asking for help and if they want the help, by all means, like I feel,
And if they
like
don't
if you
accept
have
it,
something lovely, you give it away, like the quote was saying.
Yeah, if they don't,
Don't take on.
yeah. And if they don't accept the help or whatever you say, that's their decision.
If they haven't asked for help, they probably don't want it.
but some people do ask
But
for
they
help
do
and then
ask.
they don't take it.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's not what they want to hear. Which is
Right,
fine.
because they didn't want you to say
Yeah.
yes, they wanted to stay trapped in their victimhood that nobody cares about them, right? It's a whole other
They don't want to hear
conversation.
a positive result. They want to hear a negative. To tell me something, yeah, you're right, your life is hell.
Right.
Stay in there. No, it's like, I just find that they'll just say the same negative stuff and go,
Right.
no, I need to move away.
You know
And
that
after that-
actually works. For
What?
people that are down and down, and you try and, turn it to a positive thing, they're down and down. Eventually, I just say, man, your life sucks. And they're like, what? Well, I'm telling you, it snaps them out of it.
I'm reflecting you back. Okay.
Well,
doesn't matter, not you.
Turn it or try to open the window. It's as if that's what they want to hear. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, that's not, they hear what they thought they wanted to hear, like a validation of that. But then, if it's not, oh, that sounds like difficult times, what are you doing to?
They wanted pity, not reflection.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll send them to you.
That's right.
He's
got the line.
over here.
That's because you're a sensei.
That's right.
Sensei Ravat has spoken. We're coming close to the end of our time to discuss on this topic. Does anyone have anything that they want to ask or add?
When I look to make big decisions, it's balancing the fear and the love, but the fear certainly comes up. And looking at what if it goes wrong, what if it creates lack, what if. But it's being able to, like from a more enlightened mind, being able to recognize, not to be stuck and to live in that space, but to recognize, what's the message in a sense that it's attempting to say, and how do you turn that into that positive? How do you use that to make sure you're just not jumping off the cliff like a fool? Look at me, I'm all love and peace. Because I think it plays a role of, if you're able to reach that point, and our evolution of being able to see the love and the fear, I think at times it still plays a role of warning, a role of have you thought of certain things, but it's when we get stuck and then can't make that decision, or make the decision where, oh my God, I'm going to lose my house if I do that. Oh my God, I can't do this, I can't do that. Right, but it's still it's honoring the fear that I'm in the process of making a major decision on business, and it's being able to respect that message, to respect that voice that comes up. But how do I now, I use it to fuel the questions that I need to ask to honor my vision. So the overriding image is the vision, going back to what is it that I desire to have within my business? What was the purpose of this? And what brings me joy when I do this? So do I eliminate things that have not been bringing me much joy? Or do I leave it the same, or the opportunity of going larger? And there are times that I know that in decisions that I stop myself. Because, oh my God, there's my mortgage on the line. Oh my God, I'm not going to do that. And then I find myself, in a period of time, facing the same decision, because the decision, or the opportunity rather, is there because I think there's something good with it. But it's being able to weed through, so I'm making those do's and don'ts, kind of the positive and the negative kind of a list, but allowing the merging, the blending of bringing the fear with the love. And for me, it's honoring what is my vision. Going to the simplicity of the vision boards that I was in the computer program while back. I had many vision boards. Many. For different reasons.
Me too.
Sometimes they're just to represent emotions, sometimes. But it's to not be afraid of fear for me. It's not to be afraid of that, to allow it to fuel me, to recognize that there is a light in that dark.
Can you be afraid of fear? Aren't they the same thing?
But don't fear and excitement have the same vibration, and just simply perceiving what that is inside of you? That anxious could be really a lot of excitement, or it could be fear. How you perceive it and how you view it can choose your...
Well, I know that science has shown that of excitement and anxiety. I don't know that they've done the same study with fear. I would think so. Although yesterday when I was driving to my masterclass, and I said to myself, oh, self, you're just your perspective. Remember, you can just be excited instead of afraid. It didn't really work.
I've been doing that lately.
It didn't really work. So I was like, okay, now what? All right, we're just going to be brave.
What about the whole right on the other side of fear is success?
Yeah. You just got to be brave.
10 seconds of courage.
Acknowledge that you're feeling afraid
And give yourself a little leeway. We're all human.
And just, yeah, love
We're
yourself
allowed to
for having that
feel
feeling.
those things. Yeah.
Okay. Are we going to not do it? No, of course we're going to do it. Okay, then let's go do it. Come on, fear, let's go. It's like a little toddler. Come on. Have a juice box. Let's go. Have a juice box.
Little sugar rush, that'll get you going.
Any other comments? Okay. I will post these memes to the Hummingbird Assembly page. Feel free to use them or ignore them. Always your choice. Thank you for joining us online. I'm going to end our recording now and close the meeting. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week.